guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday, which means it's time for a review show revisited. This is where we take all of the reviews that we've done over the previous weeks and months, whether they be on the Craig and Ryland review show, the 5x5s, or the review show specials. We take those reviews and we take those tricks and send them out into the real world. You get to see real world performance of either myself or Ryland performing those tricks in the real world, and then we work out whether the performance and the reactions of the performance affects the mark that we gave them. Does it take a good trick and lower the mark? Does it take a bad trick and raise the mark? You get to find out by watching the review show revisited. And the other thing is, you get to see all of these great new tricks performed in the real world, which is super exciting as well. So we got two routines that we're going to be looking at this week. And the first one, the first routine, is coming up right now. So the first routine is by Hanson Chien. Hanson Chien has been knocking it out of the park recently. I've talked several times on this channel about how much I love Series X Pro. And this is another Hanson Chien product that we gave a great review to as well. This is called Hollywood. Now, what is Hollywood? Hollywood is basically Hanson Chien's version of the Matchbox trick, where you know, there's been so many different versions of it. Joel Miranda brought out a version called Metal Phone in conjunction with Kayla Morelli. You had Industrial Revolution, which was by Jamie D. Grant. There's so many different versions of this trick, but the idea or the concept is very simple. You apparently pass solid matter through solid matter, and then you show that it's like a solid block of some description. What makes Hollywood very interesting is it's made out of a block of wood. And there's a few advantages of having something made out of a block of wood. First of all, a lot of the other routines that I've been talking about are very heavy because they're normally made out of metal. So they're very heavy. The Metal Phone is ridiculously heavy. Industrial Revolution wrecked a couple of my jackets, it's so heavy. Hollywood is not the case because it's basically a block of wood. It's not anywhere near as heavy. The other thing is you can have a very interesting time travel presentation with this trick. Because you also get some really nice gimmicks, including like a Paul Harrius vanishing deck style gimmick that allows you to show that the box that you've actually got a real deck of cards in there. So that when you take two cards out and you show that, and the routine builds really nicely because you take these two cards out, you show that you can penetrate through this pack of cards with your card. They then do it with their card, and then and the pattern is you're taking the deck back in time to when it was mush or paper mache, so it's easy to push the card through. And then you go further back in time to when it was wood. Very, very nice presentation. And then at the end, you know, they examine the box, they examine the wood, they examine everything. They have no idea how it's done. And as you walk away, it's like a 10-second reset. Not even that, probably a 5-second reset. And you're ready to go again on the next table. I found this to be very good, especially in walk-around situations. But it also works really well in sort of restaurant-type situations. It works really well in banquet. You know, I've even done it in one parlor show, and it worked great as well. So there's a lot of scope for performance. There's a lot of scope for how it's actually done. And it's killer. It's killer. You know, on the project, on the download, they talked about so many different ideas with credit cards and this and that and the other. I'll be honest, I've just been using the basic routine because the basic routine hits home. It hits hard and it's really good. So let's have a look at that right now, shall we? We're going to have a look at a live performance of me doing this in a family restaurant. Let's have a look at that right now. Do you believe in time travel?
No.
Okay. I'm going to try and change your mind right now and make you believe in time travel with a deck of playing cards. Anybody here believe in time travel? No Doctor Who fans here? No, okay. I've got a deck of cards. You see that?
Yeah.
52 playing cards, 52 possibilities. We're going to do 2 cards with this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And if I can actually shut the box, that would be an absolute miracle. Okay, good stuff. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try. You can take one of these cards, I'll take one. Okay. We're going to try and go back in time with this deck of cards.
Yeah.
Because you see, a deck of cards is basically made out of paper. And if I went back in time, say, 4 years before these cards were made, it wouldn't be paper, it'd be like mush, it'd be like paper mache and stuff, because they've got these machines that mush it all together and turn it into card and then print it and everything like that. So if I can snap my fingers and I can take this deck of cards back in time, I should be able to have that card penetrate through that full card box. That's not magic, that's time travel. You see, all I've done, I've gone back in time, but it'll work for anybody, it'll work with you. Look, just try and put your card through. See, this is time travel. It's amazing, isn't it? It's brilliant. But here's a question. If you could go further back in time, if you could go like 15 years back in time, what would this deck of cards look like now?
Tree.
It'd look like a tree, and a tree is made out of wood. Very good. And if I've just done that, try and put the card through now. You can't. You know why?
Because it's some wood in there.
Because I've gone even further back in time to when there wasn't even a deck of cards. And it was just a solid block of wood. And you can examine everything.
What?
Mind blown.
I think I've ruined Sam.
Even better with the joiner.
So you can see it gets a really good reaction. I mean, at that particular gig, I was sitting down with all the spectators sitting down as well, and it got a great reaction. Everybody absolutely loved it. And it's one of those tricks that when you have that final revelation and you've got that wooden block in there, everybody wants to look at it. Everyone wants to examine it because they can't believe it. I love routines like that. It's like when you produce a jumbo coin at the end of a coin routine and everybody wants to look at that jumbo coin. Everybody wants to see it. And it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. What? No. So, and you know, it just kills. It really does. It kills. Yeah, I've got really nothing else to say. Other than it's super commercial. You know, we gave it a great review. I stand by that review. This is one that I'm going to be including in my act and in my shows for a very long time. I cannot give it a higher recommendation than that. This is something that is really, really strong, and it's got that moment where you just want to examine everything, and you can, and it's so cool, and then you can examine it and then you can reset it almost instantly. A lot easier. It's a lot easier to reset than Industrial Revolution, but it's just as examinable. So there you go. Yeah, highly recommended. You can get it directly from Hanson Chien. Let's have a look at the second review. So Hollywood is a fantastic trick. It really is. And I very much like the hook about time travel. I do a lot of routines involving time travel presentations. If you've seen my Visible project and you've seen Future Craig, you'll know that. So I love the premise, and I love linking all these different routines together. Now, what's really cool about this is they see the deck inside the box from the very, very beginning. And I think that's the genius thing that Hanson did here. Now, I don't present this as a trick that takes very long at all. It's a very quick visual moment of eye candy. And I know I'm sitting down at the table here, but normally I perform this mix and mingle or walk around because I think that's where it really shines, to be perfectly honest. So I think it's really important to set the premise and talk about time travel. And then you have this moment. I want you to see the guy's face. When you put this through here, it's such a magical moment. People think when they see this, oh, they kind of just like dismiss it as if it's unimportant. But this is a moment that really is strong. If they believe that the deck of cards is there, when they put that card through, it's an incredible moment. Now, notice that I did the move as I transferred the deck back into the other hand. The move has been done now. And then that's it. I mean, this trick is almost as self-working as it gets. But look at the guy's reaction when I ask. By the way, that's one thing I've added. I asked them to put the card through again, and they can't. And I want you to look at the reaction when I open this, and they see a solid block of wood in there, and you tip it out, and then just leave it on the table. And I encourage people to look at it and touch it and feel it. And you know, have a look at the guy on the right, and he's like looking so puzzled. I remember he was a guy that didn't really react to that much stuff, but you can see the look on his face. He's like the guy on the left with his hand on his head, like not having a clue what's going on. It's a really strong routine. It's one of the best commercial mix and mingle routines I've seen in a long time. It's not very difficult to do, and it always gets a great reaction. Now, the second thing that I'm going to be talking about that you're going to see performed in the real world is something that I've talked about on this channel many, many times. And I feel it's only right to talk about it again. I think this is the best trick of 2021, in my opinion. And as I say, I have talked about it an awful lot, but I feel the need to talk about it again because it's so damn good. And it fits, you know, we reviewed it at the beginning of 2021. And I've been performing it all year, and I have had more bookings come in as a result of this thing than anything else I have done. And I am, of course, talking about Cube in Bottle by Harrius. Now, if you don't know what this trick is, the whole idea is that you show a cube, you show a bottle, you put them in a bag, and then you proceed to push the cube into the bottle. Now, it's that clean, it's that strong, it's that killer, it's absolutely amazing. It comes with a whole stack of gimmicks, it comes with loads of different routines. The way that you see me perform this, when you see this footage, you're going to see me perform it at the end of a sort of set of Rubik's Cube magic. And that's where I think Cube in Bottle works best. It works best at the end of a string of Rubik's Cube magic. And the way I perform it is different to how it's performed on the tutorial. I don't use one of the gimmicks, and the reason I don't use one of the gimmicks is a lot of the time I'm in a situation where I'm performing this without a table, completely surrounded, and I had to adapt it to work for me. And so I have adapted it. It's still basically the same routine, and anyone who has Cube in Bottle, you'll see what I'm doing here. But it just makes it work a little bit better for me, if that kind of makes sense. The other thing that I'll tell you, I mentioned this before, but I have had more work come as a result of this than anything else, because I'm doing this at every wedding. So every wedding I go to, or every private event where I'm booked for a special occasion, like an anniversary or a birthday or something like this, I'm giving a Cube in Bottle to the person who's booked me. And I'm saying to them, hey, put it up on your mantelpiece, and it'll be a visual representation of an impossible object that you can keep forever, and you can remember this wonderful day. And people are. And I have had bookings from people who have seen me perform this at the events that I've actually given it away at. But also, I've had inquiries from people that have gone around that person's house, seen this object and said, hey, I'm going to ring that person. And they've booked me in on the proviso that I do Cube in Bottle for them as well. So, you know, it gets some killer reactions. Let's have a look at a live performance footage of me performing it first of all. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff in this particular performance. You can see me doing a lot of different magic with cubes, and then the finale is the Cube in Bottle. But what I do like about it is I bring out the bottle at the beginning. I show the bottle, I put one cube to one side, and then I finish at the end with it. So I'm bringing the whole routine full circle. And anybody that's seen my magic stuffs on a Thursday, you know how important it is for me to, when you're doing an act, bring everything full circle. Anyway, let's have a look at the footage. I have a bag. Now, guys, I promise you this is the trick you're going to remember forever. I want you to watch very carefully. There's a few things inside this bag. The first thing that's inside there is a glass bottle. We're going to get back to that in a bit. I'm just going to put that over there, right next to the Frazzlers. There we go. The other thing that I have in here, I have two things. I have the same thing, but I have two of them. Inside here, I have something that I'm willing to bet most people have owned one of these before, or you even have one now. Inside this bag, I have two Rubik's Cubes. Anybody got a Rubik's Cube? Owned one at one point in your life?
I have one.
Fantastic. Well, I've got... Anybody here know how to solve Rubik's Cube?
Caitlin can. I did it once.
Without taking the stickers off?
I didn't take the stickers
wow,
off.
Wow, congratulations, Caitlin. Well, I've got two Rubik's Cubes in here. I've been solving Rubik's Cubes for a long time, for about 20 years. And at home, I've got a collection of over 200 Rubik's Cubes. There's a technical term for that. It's called SAD. Two cubes. This is the first one. This is the oldest cube I own. My mum and dad got me this cube. This is about 15 years old, something like this. This has not been solved in a very, very long time. Now, everybody here who said they couldn't solve Rubik's Cubes, every single person here could solve the other cube in this bag. And the reason is the other one is brand new. It's not yet being mixed up. I'd just give it you and you'd say, done. So we're going to do something, and you get to make all the decisions. Two cubes, a really old one that's not been solved in a long time, and a brand new one that's yet to be mixed up. Which one should we do the magic with?
Brand new one.
the brand new one. Okay, so we're going to take the old one out. Hold your hand out like that. I'm just going to put that there. We're going to leave the brand new one inside the bag. I'm going to put it right there, and you don't let anyone near that bag. If anybody comes close and tries to open it, hit them with your stick. So, this is a Rubik's Cube. Guys, there are 47 quintillion million combinations with a Rubik's Cube. The more you mix it up, the harder it is to solve. The world champion solves one of these in about 6 seconds with 2 hands. I'm going to try and go one step further. I'm going to try and solve this in 1 second with 1 hand. Now think about this, if I could solve this cube in 1 second with 1 hand, would that be good enough to get a big round of applause? Yes. You're going to say go. When you say go, I'm going to solve it in a second. Touch the cube. Anytime you want to, say go.
Go.
That's a second, right? Lovely. I had ripples of a golf. Wow. Now there's a rule in magic, never repeat a trick. Mainly because the first time it's entertainment, the second time it's educational. But I'm going to do it again. Now, like I said, the more you mix up a cube, the harder it is to solve. Like I said, there's 47 quintillion million combinations. Do me a favour, anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There. You want to do one more turn?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Thanks. One more, or are you good?
Good.
You're good, great. Hold your hand out for me again. I'm going to put that right there. 47 quintillion million combinations, that is one combination of the 47 quintillion million. It's impossible to know ahead of time what position that cube would be in. But if I told you I knew exactly what that cube would look like, would you believe me?
No.
Because the trick I did before this one, I predicted 5 cards that were picked with this tattoo. The thing you need to understand is I've got 2 arms.
Oh my god.
And there's a tattoo of a Rubik's Cube on this side. And if I just take this, white, red, blue, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, orange, green, red, white, green, peace.
No.
Yes. Yeah, but you know the thing is, the reason these guys haven't gone crazy is they want me to solve the cube again. Are you ready? 1 second. Caitlin, when you say go.
Go.
That's still a second, right? You know what? I'll tell you how this works. I can't really tell you how it works, but I'm kind of going to give you a rough idea. Name a colour for me.
Blue.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to do it one more time, but just with the colour blue, okay? Now, here's the thing. When you are trying to solve Rubik's Cube, and Caitlin will tell you this, as she solved one once, you have to understand that the centre points of a Rubik's Cube never move. So in other words, if you want to solve the red side, it has to be there where the red centre is. That cannot be the red side, that would have to be the green side, so the blue side would have to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you see the blue side?
Yeah.
Right there. Now you'll see there's 9 squares, the only one that's blue is the middle one, but in order for the blue side to be solved, all these have to be blue. Watch. Slow motion, 1 hand. I go from 1 blue square to 2 blue squares. I go from 2 blue squares to 4 blue squares. I go from 4 blue squares to 6 blue squares. And one last shake, I get 9 blue squares, which is good until I snap my fingers and then every single colour on the cube goes as well. Now, the only way I could improve this is if I got somebody who didn't know how to solve a Rubik's Cube to solve a Rubik's Cube. Somebody like you. The nice thing about this is if you get it wrong, it's not me that's got the trick wrong, it's you. So, can you stand right there? Very good. Just face the front, smile, you're in show business right now. Look. I'm going to put this cube behind my back. In a second, I'm going to put it behind your back. Can you see the cube?
Yeah.
When it goes behind your back, all I want you to do is turn it like this.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want you to do. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Now it's already mixed up, she can only make it worse. Put the hands behind the back, very good. Do me a favour, start turning it just like I showed you, and anytime you want to stop turning it, stop, but keep it behind your back. Like I said, take your time because you get paid by the hour. You know.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. I can solve a cube. Everything you've seen me do, you expect me to do because I'm a magician. But if you solve the cube behind your back, they're going to go crazy. But this is only going to work if you believe. Do you believe?
I believe.
Do you believe?
I really believe.
You really believe? I'm going to count backwards. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. I'm going to snap my fingers. You're going to bring the cube out. And if it's solved, they're going to go crazy. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. But hang on. I promised you a magical souvenir, didn't I? Now, do you remember we left a cube in that bag over there? And no one's gone near it?
No.
You haven't had to hit somebody?
No.
Okay. I'm going to give you a souvenir that you're going to keep forever. What you're about to have, you can't buy this. If you were the richest person in the world, you wouldn't be able to get yourself one of these. The only way you can get one of these is by coming to my show. It uses that cube that we left in there, the brand new one. That's the one you chose to leave it there. And it also uses this bottle that's been by the Frazzlers the whole time. I'm going to put the bottle in the bag with the cube. Now, has anybody ever seen a magician? He's not very well known. You probably haven't heard of him. He's a guy called Dynamo.
Yeah, I've watched him on TV.
Never heard of him.
So here's the thing. Did anyone see Dynamo put a phone in a bottle?
Yeah.
That is a stupid trick. Because it's amazing, but the only way to get that phone out is to smash the bottle. And you're going to want your phone, so you're going to have to smash the bottle. So you've got no evidence. You've got no proof that this magical thing happened to you. So I'm going to try and give you some evidence that what you've seen today has happened, and this is something you can keep forever. I want you to watch. Can you come over here for a minute? The bottle
Get it inside the bottle.
and the cube inside the bag. Hold on to the top for me with both hands. Very good. I want you guys to watch very carefully. It's going to happen on 3. 1, 2, 3.
No way. No.
You still it?
No.
Well, if it is, that would be incredible. And if it is, that would be a magical souvenir that you can't buy in the shop. You can't get these anywhere. You can only get them if you see my show. And if I did put that cube in the bottle, it would look something like that. That's a genuine cube inside a bottle. You can keep that as a souvenir. That's my birthday present to you. Thank you so much for watching. Let's give her a big huge round of Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. So, killer. What can I say? Killer. It's really great. I love it. One thing that I would say, and I was speaking to a couple of magicians about this, if you do back of room sales, so if you are the sort of person that does back of room sales, I would potentially, and you've got a stage show, I would consider buying a load of these from Harrius and selling them at the end of the show. And having this cube and bottle, have someone come up on stage, do the routine, give the cube and bottle away during the routine and say, hey, if anybody else wants to take away this moment of wonder, please come and see me after the show. And then after the show, have them available, but have a video on Vimeo that's password protected, that's a video of you in your magic studio going, hey, thank you very much for purchasing this impossible object. I love you all dearly. Thank you so much. Whatever you want to say. And say, look, you're taking home your very own cube and bottle. Let me show you how I made this for you. This is the cube that you're holding right now. This is the bottle that you're holding right now. Watch. There you go. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. And just send everyone this video. They're going to watch it. They're going to show their friends. They've got that video. And it makes the thing that they're buying at the end of the show more of a valuable commodity. Honestly, I think if you're the sort of magician that does maybe cruise liners or does holiday parks or does things where back of room sales are allowed, I think you can make a lot of money from this. So there you go. That's just my opinion on that. I think this is incredible. I think this is the trick of 2021. I haven't seen anything yet at time of writing that beats this. Maybe I will, but I haven't just yet. It's highly recommended. I love it. Everyone should be doing cube and bottle. Everyone should be learning how to do a Rubik's Cube in order to do cube and bottle. And you don't need to learn how to do a Rubik's Cube. You can do cube and bottle without without solving a cube. But I think that if you're going to do cube magic, you need to be able to solve a cube so that if you run into a mistake, you can reset the cube, if that makes sense. But there you go. This got a great grade. It's going to continue to get a great grade. Let's have a look at that footage one more time with a commentary track over the top. So we're going to have a look at the whole performance of the cube and bottle, not just the cube and bottle part, but absolutely everything. So I use a different handling for cube and bottle to what comes with the actual trick. I don't use, for those people that have got the trick, I don't use the gimmick. And the reason I don't use the gimmick is because in order to use the gimmick, I really have to have the audience in front of me. And a lot of the time I don't. As you can see in this particular performance, I've got people behind me, I've got people to the extreme left, I've got this person to the extreme right, and also I don't have a table to put things down on. So it's kind of really important that I make sure that I do something that works completely surrounded. So I use a concept by Takamiza Sui, which is, the concept of apparently showing a mixed up cube and a brand new cube. And he uses it in the context of solving a cube or turning a cube into a different shaped cube or something like that. But I'm using it in this context to set up the cube in bottle. So you'll notice at the very beginning of the routine, I take the bottle out, I put it to one side, I say we're going to get back to that. I then show the two different cubes. Now, I think it's very important that when you're doing cube magic, you need to make sure that you hook people's attention. And one way to make sure that you're hooking people's attention is by, it's one of the reasons that I love Rubik's Cube so much. Because everybody can relate to a Rubik's Cube. Everybody knows what a Rubik's Cube is. And everyone knows that they're very difficult to solve and there's lots of different combinations. So by bringing out a Rubik's Cube, immediately people understand the impossibility of what you're about to do. So at this point in the routine, you can see that I've got the bottle that I've put down to one side, and I've apparently left a new cube inside the bag, which I've given to someone to hold on to, whilst in reality, obviously, that's set up ready to do the cube in the bottle. So what I like to do, first of all, when I'm doing cube magic, is I do like to do a solve of the Rubik's Cube. I do like to think that that's the first thing. And you hear the reactions right here, and you see the look on her face. That always gets a really great reaction. And again, that comes back to the fact that with a Rubik's Cube, they know how difficult they are to solve. They've probably all tried to solve a cube themselves at one point or another. It's a very difficult, if not impossible thing. So you solve it in a second, and it looks, it looks incredible, but also establishes credibility. So now I'm going into my timing force. Now this is something that I've done for many, many years. If you want to learn the concept behind this, I think I talked about it once on a 5x5. But the whole idea is they have a free choice of stopping wherever they want to, and they're going to end up stopping in the position that you have forced. Now, I obviously force that position and then show the revelation, which is a tattoo on my arm. You can think what you want about tattoos or about magic with tattoos. It is an absolute permanent prediction, and you can see the look on her face, you can see the look on the guy's face. It is a permanent prediction. There's no way you can fake that or have a multiple out. There's no way. Obviously, you don't need to get a tattoo. That's just very extreme. But you can have, like photos or something like that. And then I go back into the shake change. Now, the way I do the shake change, by the way, is very different. For those people that do Rubik's Cube magic, obviously I'm actually using the Brundtland mix here, and normally you're four moves away from being solved. All I do is I bring it up, and as I bring it up, I take two of those moves out. So now I'm only 2 moves away from solving the cube, which means that I can take those 2 moves out as I give it a shake, and it looks as visible as Instacube. So it's great, and I think the important thing to understand about this is that when you're doing a longer routine, it's really important that each phase builds. You want to make sure that the phases build one from the other. And that's really important. What you don't want to have is you don't want to have a situation where the phases aren't building. And I love this after doing a shake change, because it looks like it's getting changed in slow motion, and you have that finale where every single side of the cube solves as well. Now that is actually on Cube 3 by Stephen Brundtland, and he uses it by covering the front of the cube up with his hand. And the problem with that, and he talks about this on the download, it's very angly and it can be a bit of an issue. The way that I do it out in the open, which means I've completely eliminated the angles, and it looks way more visual as well. So we're now into what I think is the greatest Rubik's Cube trick in the entire history of Rubik's Cube magic. And if you don't own this, I seriously highly recommend you get The Solution by Michael Murray. So The Solution by Michael Murray is basically a way of having the spectator solve a cube behind their back. So you take a cube, you mix it up, you put it behind the back, they mix it up, and when they bring it out, it's solved. The reactions it gets are insane, both from the person who you're performing it to and the audience as well. And the method behind it is so simple. In fact, when you get the solution, it's a little download, it's a little booklet that teaches you how to do it. And anyone who does cube magic really should do this, because it's a great way to empower the spectator. Now you're going into the finale. So now we're going into the actual cube in bottle. So I referenced the fact that she's been holding onto that cube the entire time, and there's no way I can get to it. There's no way I can go anywhere near it. And over here in the UK, everybody has heard of Dynamo. Obviously, he's probably the most popular magician in the UK. And he's very well known for putting a phone in a spectator's, putting a spectator's phone into a bottle. And everybody knows that. And everybody references it when you go to gigs. So I like to frame this whole thing by saying, have you ever seen Dynamo put a phone in a bottle? And then I say, well, that trick's stupid, because you can't give them that as a souvenir, because obviously they want their phone out, and the only way to do that is by smashing the bottle. And then I say, well, I'm going to give you a souvenir that you're going to keep forever, and it's going to be a magical memento of what you've seen. And what that does is that allows me to set the concept for the trick and kind of almost telegraph it a little bit, so people know what's coming at this point, and they just absolutely can't believe that I'm going to do what I said that I'm going to do. Now, I think it's very important that you get the spectator to hold the bag. I've seen magicians do this and they don't get the spectator to hold the bag, but I think doing it this way is so much better, because it feels like everything's happening in their hands. And what I love about the cube and bottle is they hear this moment, and you can see the look on her face. She knows what's coming and she can't believe it. And then when you look in and you take it out, it's such a killer ending to a killer trick, because now you bring this bottle out and the cube's inside there, and you see the reaction when it comes out. Look at her face, look at her hands, and you give them that as a souvenir. They will keep that forever. And that is the reason, in my opinion, why cube in bottle is the absolute greatest trick that's been released this year. And I do it so often. It's such a great routine. So there you go, guys. That is another review show revisited in the bag. Thank you very much for joining me once again. Remember, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. We're coming up to the weekend here on Magic TV, and on the weekend we have 8 videos going up. On Saturday at 12 o'clock we have an Honest Trainer, 2 o'clock we have a Shorts, 6 o'clock we have a Magic Live, 9 o'clock we have a Talk Magic, and then on Sunday at 12 o'clock we have the Q&A, 2 o'clock we have a Short, 6 o'clock Magic Live, and at 9 o'clock I'm back with a review show special. So thanks once again for tuning in. I will see you again soon. My name is Craig from Magic